Linguistic knowledge means everything we know about our language as native speakers, everything that you know that enables you to just open your mouth and speak and understand other people. We don't consciously know how our language works at all. Linguistic knowledge is subconscious knowledge, meaning we just do it. You don't think about the physics of walking, and you don't wonder about what exactly you have to do to climb the stairs. You just do it, and language is just like that. So we are not really aware of much at all. We may be aware of a little bit, but what we are aware of is only the very tip of the iceberg. And that means that you may know that there is nouns and verbs, and there is a past tense and things like that. So we are aware of a little bit because in our culture we receive education about that in school. But what we are aware of is really only the tip of the iceberg. The vast majority of what makes language work is under the surface, so it's subconscious knowledge. Take this example. Let's say there is an English as a second language learner on campus, and you are a friend of that person, and that person is running across campus, and they are on their way to a test, and they stop you and they say, "Oh, quickly, please summarize for me all the ways in which English can do negation." What would you say? You would probably say, "Gosh, I hope you studied a lot on your own because I can't help you." You have been applying the rules of English negation since you were 2 years old, but you don't consciously know them. You cannot just rattle them off. So linguistic knowledge, everything we know about our language, is subconscious knowledge. You have it, but you cannot consciously tap into it. If you are a native speaker of a language, you are perfect. You have perfect but subconscious knowledge of your language. I know that your English teachers would disagree with me, but please remember that your English teachers have to enforce on you whatever rules of writing are considered the best rules right now. You do not need your English teacher to stand next to you so you can make yourself understood to your friends. So, as a native speaker, you have perfect but subconscious knowledge of your language. You also have something that we call in linguistics the native speaker's judgment. What that means is when you hear a sentence, you can tell right away whether it's a good, a bad, or a weird sentence of English, even though you cannot tell which rules were broken to make it a weird or a strange sentence. But I'm going to show you now with a really famous example in linguistics, and it's not weird or anything. So that's a really good example to show you what native speaker's judgment is all about and how the rules you know are subconscious. Okay, here is a sentence, and that sentence will come up 4 different times, and I will never add or subtract a word. I'm only changing the linear arrangement of the sentence. Okay, so after she got up, Lisa took a shower. Rearranging it. Lisa took a shower after she got up. Once more. After Lisa got up, she took a shower. She took a shower after Lisa got up. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a moment. And during that time, you guys are going to try and figure out in which ones of these sentences your immediate understanding would be that she and Lisa is the same person. And in one of these sentences, she and Lisa are probably not the same person. Look at them. I'll be quiet for a moment and then I'll move on. Most people feel that in the last sentence, she took a shower after Lisa got up, she and Lisa are probably not the same person. This is a really complicated rule of English that governs when the noun, and Lisa would be a noun, and the pronoun, she is a pronoun, are the same person and when they are not. So after she got up, Lisa took a shower. In this case, you have she first and Lisa later. But in this one, she took a shower after Lisa got up. You also have she first and Lisa later. So it's not who is mentioned first. Here's what matters. In this case here, she is mentioned first and Lisa is in a subordinate clause. That makes us believe in English that she and Lisa are not the same person. Here, she is in the subordinate clause and Lisa is in the main clause. So nouns and pronouns matter and main clause and subordinate clause matters. Tell me, when is the last time in your real life that you thought about main clauses and subordinate clauses? Never, unless they make you do that in some kind of a grammar lesson. So the thing is, in real life, your brain subconsciously pays attention. Was it a noun? Was it a pronoun? Was it in a main clause? Was it in a subordinate clause? I hope this didn't go by you too fast. Let me go back. No, you can stop yourselves and go back to the sentence. Okay, so the linear order of words in a sentence matters. It really matters. I want to show you that more. So all languages have rules as to how nouns and pronouns belong together. All native speakers of all languages know those rules subconsciously and perfectly. The rules are not the same across languages, but all languages have them. If you're a native speaker, you know exactly what people are talking about. You know those rules perfectly. And you have known them since you were very little, but they're subconscious. You cannot rattle off the rules. Nobody in their right mind would say, oh yeah, I think this is because the pronoun was in the main clause or something like that. So about that linear order that I wanted to say more about. In human languages, linear order always matters. Look at my example sentence. Our cat dragged in a mouse. That's gross enough, right? But our mouse dragged in a cat? That's weird, right? So, but anyway, you see how we just transposed the words cat and mouse, and we get a completely different reading. We have never discovered that to be the case in the communication systems of any of the other animals on this planet. So what that means is that the linear order that is crucially important in human language is not a big factor or a factor in any case in other in other communication systems out there in the animal kingdom. You realize we're considered one of the animals. So bird song, whale song, any other kind of vocalization that is quite complex and really long, it cannot be cut up into individual pieces that then can be transposed for new meaning. Okay, I'll come back to this a lot when we compare human language and its unique features to the communication systems of other animals. All right, going on here. Okay, so here are some facts about human language, and I hope you guys are following along on the need to know sheet that you were supposed to print out under resources. Okay, so here are some facts about human language. Words are made up. They are not real. They are not logical. They're just completely made up. There is no reason why the meaning tree should be referred to by the sound sequence tree. I'm thinking of a Shakespeare quote. It comes out of the Romeo and Juliet play. And the quote goes, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So in other words, you don't have to call a rose rose. It could have any other name. It would still be a sweet smelling flower. So let me take this thought a little bit further. There is no reason in the world why the meaning tree, and I mean this meaning, why the meaning tree should be referred to with the sound sequence tree. If people ever had a reason to pick this particular sound sequence to refer to this thing, to the tree, it is lost to us now and doesn't matter anymore. You have to assume that people who made up language had some kind of a reason. Whatever their reasoning is, it's lost to us now. It's not like we sit around and ponder, gee, what does the word tree really mean? Okay, because there is no logical word for tree, every language can pick whatever it wants. It's not logical to call this thing a tree. You could call it Steve if you wanted, okay? So in German, a tree is Baum. In Arabic, it's Sharjara. Don't hold me to the pronunciation. It's Mti in Swahili. It's Sacha in Quechua, South American language. It's Arbol in Spanish. It's Arbori in Italian. Arbol and Arbori are similar because Spanish and Italian are sister languages. They both developed out of their mother language Latin, and Latin had the word arbor. But so these three cluster together as a language family. But still, there is no logical reason why you would call it either a tree or a baum or shajara, mti or sacha or arbol. You could call it Rodney, okay? The relationship between a linguistic form or sign or word, that what we call it, tree, baum, arbol, whatever sign language sign somebody has, the written word, whatever we use for language, the relationship between that, what we use for language, and the actual meaning of the thing, this, is arbitrary. And arbitrary means nobody can give you a good reason at all. Nobody can explain to you why Baum would make more or less sense than tree. None of them make sense. It's arbitrary. And arbitrary means who knows what the reasoning is. If there were a good reason, every language on earth would have picked the same word for tree, and they surely did not. Okay, so there is no good reason. It's just completely abstract, detached, weird, symbolic, arbitrary. Okay, so language is symbolic. We produce the sound sequence tree with our upper respiratory system, and for the other speakers of English, that symbolizes this thing. So the sound sequence tree is a symbol. We're producing this hot air, really. And if you speak to speakers of your same language, these hot air sound sequences symbolize something. But if you don't come from the same language, they mean absolutely nothing. Okay, so the sound sequences of words that are not rooted in any, the sound sequences of words are not rooted in any reality. They are symbolic, and they are not obvious. If I use a German sound sequence now, listen, Schreibtisch. You have no way of guessing what that word means. It means desk, by the way. Because words are symbols and are not obvious, we call words in human language abstract. It's abstract. It's detached from any reality. Excuse me. Here's an abstract painting. I thought it would be easiest to show you what abstract means by using abstract art. What is this? Of course you don't know because it's abstract art. This was produced by a famous Swiss painter by the name of Paul Klee, and he entitled his painting Ancient Sound. So I guess if you could see an ancient sound, it would look like that, at least to Paul Klee. Okay, so nobody ever would say, oh, upon looking at that, oh, that must be ancient sound. It looks more like a rug to me or something. Anyway, okay, so people though ask, do some words and sound combinations make a little bit more sense? Are some of them not arbitrary and not random and not completely without any basis in reality? And up to a point, yes. There is a small number of words in every language, and they are not completely random. And that part of language is called onomatopoeia. That's a Greek term. So onomatopoeia means that some words imitate with their sounds what they refer to. So onomatopoeic words would be buzz, buzz, or splash. Or if you explain to a child how a clock goes, at least the old-fashioned clocks went tick-tock, tick-tock. There's also some American Sign Language signs you can guess. You see 3 images here of people signaling to drink. But by far the most words and sign language signs are completely arbitrary. There are very, very, very few words or signs that you could guess. Very, very few have some kind of a relationship to reality. Very few. And if you look at that cross-linguistically, it looks bad. So how well does onomatopoeia work cross-linguistically? Not very well at all. Okay. I want to give you that example with one of the funniest ones that I came across when I came to the United States. And I heard people say to little kids, oh, and the rooster goes, cock-a-doodle-doo. And I thought, by golly, there isn't an animal on earth that makes that weird sound. So, but anyway, so look at that. So I call this say what, or cross-linguistic examples of onomatopoeia. So here's what the rooster sounds like when you talk to children in different languages. So of course, I cannot pronounce them all really well, so I'm just giving you examples. So apparently the Arabic speakers say to the little kids, and then the rooster went away. I don't get that at all. The Chinese rooster supposedly goes cuckoo. Here come you guys with the English cock-a-doodle-doo. The French rooster, French speakers tell their children, the rooster goes cocorico. The German rooster goes kikeriki. The Hebrew rooster goes kikuriku. The Japanese koke koko. Spanish, being such a big world language, has a bunch of different ways of referring to the sound that a rooster makes. One is kikriki. I find that one brilliant. It's the same as German. One is kokoroko. Right? So, okay, just as a reality check for all of us. Okay, it is not cock-a-doodle-doo.
The pig goes whack. The cow goes shazoo.
It most certainly does not.
The rooster goes kikeriki.
Where? Where does the rooster say that?
The monkey goes macaque.
Oh, no, it does not.
The elephant goes thwap.
Shazoo!